everyone, it's Jessica, and today I'm bringing you a review of the ColourPop blushes that are now out. They are called the Super Shock Cheek, and they are $8 a piece, and I have 5 different shades here. I'm wearing one today, so we'll go ahead and start with that one. I'm going to show you swatches of all 5 of these, but then I'm also going to show you a demo of me actually applying this in 2 different ways so you can kind of get an idea of the best ways to apply this kind of a product. The formula of these is different because it's like a cream to powder finish. It's creamy, and you'll feel that when you swatch them, like you could push your finger and it could push all the way to the bottom of the blush, but it's very powdery once it's on, so it's a really cool formula. So stay tuned if you're curious about how to apply these. So the first one I'm going to show you is called Prenup, which is one of my favorites. And this is just a really nice, simple, everyday rosy pink cheek. This is one of their satin blushes. They have both satin and matte. And this is one of their satin ones, and you can see today there is a little bit of a glow around it. I don't have any highlight on or anything like that. So there is a little bit of a glow on these, but not enough that there's no detectable shimmer or anything. Even when you look at the swatch, you can see there's no shimmer to it, but it's not completely matte. I love the satin formula. The next one I'm going to show you is called Trickery, and this is a really nice peach toned blush. And the thing about this one is I noticed it goes on a little more sheer, so you can build it up if you want, but I think if you are fair like I am and you've been looking for a peach blush that doesn't make you look crazy, I think this is a really nice option because it is more of a sheer wash. You can see in the top of these 2 swatches is just with one swipe, and then I built it up like 3 or 4 times with the bottom swatch. Again, that is another one from their satin line. The next one I'm going to show you is called Thumper, and this is a little bit more of a brighter pink than Prenup was. This is one of their matte blushes, and again, it doesn't look that much different than the satin ones, but I do like this one for just a little bit more of a bright look, especially I think if you're going out at night and you add a really nice highlight on top of it. I think this would be absolutely gorgeous. And you can, as I kind of blend it out, you can totally control how much you apply, which you'll see here in a little bit when I do my demo. These last 2 are a little bit deeper. So this first one is called Between the Sheets, and it's more of a dusty, kind of deep brownish red color. Again, this is from their matte line, and this is a color that I think for my skin tone, as I sheer it out, it looks a lot better. But I would definitely have to be careful with one like this, because for me, when you're really fair, this can tend to look a lot muddier than it would on someone with a deeper skin tone. I think this would be a really pretty option if you had an olive complexion, just because I feel like those would complement each other really well. The last one I got, I think, is more of a bronzer, and I was pretty excited about this one. Sorry, my hair is a mess because I let it air dry, and I don't know what to do with it, to be completely honest with you. Okay, so the next one is Aphrodisiac, and it's more of a brown. Just like a straight up brown. It does have a little bit of a red tint to it, but this could totally be used as a bronzer, especially if you do have a deeper skin tone. I think for me, I'd have to be really careful with it, but again, it's totally workable, or you could just use it as a very neutral blush. Either way, I think it's a really cool option. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and lead into the demo where I show you how I apply it, and after that, I'll go into kind of the nitty-gritty details of the pros and cons of this product. So I picked my favorite, which is Prenup. I like this for my skin tone, and it's that really pretty pink one. Ooh, I can't talk today. So I'm gonna do one cheek with a stipple brush, and the other cheek I'm gonna use a regular blush brush. I'm gonna do the stipple on this side, so I'm just gonna stipple it on in, and I'm just gonna press it into my cheek. I might have to rub it a little bit, yeah. Now this time I'm gonna kind of swirl it and maybe pick up a little bit more. There you go, so you can see a little more of the color. It still applies a nice even wash of color, and I'm just kind of putting it everywhere. But it's such a pretty pink color, and I think for my skin tone in the springtime, it's just really nice. Now I'm going to use the blush brush. These are both Real Techniques, by the way, and just get some on there. and sweep it back. Mostly just focusing on the apples of my cheeks, but sweeping it a little bit farther back. And the reason I like applying it with both of these, because either way you have a lot of control. I know I've got a break out there, just calm down everyone. But I think as I'm looking at this now, I think it does apply better with the stipple brush. Just because you have a little more control and you're in control of how much is on there a little more than with this, where it's tapered and it's really not meant for this creamy consistency. So I think a stipple brush is your best bet, but I think it does a really nice job of applying it. But I did want to show it to you with a powder or a powder-based blush brush so you could get an idea. It still works, but I do think stipple brushes are a little better. I love the Real Techniques one with this blush because it's a little more dense. I love the e.l.f. stipple brushes, but I don't love using them for this because it's a little too flimsy, I think, for this formula. So like I said before, the price point of these is great. It's $8 a pop, and they'll usually do like free shipping when you spend $30, so you could get some of their eyeshadows, you could get a blush or two, and maybe a lippy. Things like that. So there's a lot of amazing products that they do sell. I have done a ColourPop swatch video and demo with their eyeshadows, which I can link below if you're interested, where I show what those are like and how they are best applied as well. I do think these are an excellent option. If you are going to place an order anyway, you should certainly get these. I would say it's worth placing an order just for these blushes because they're different and they have so many beautiful colors. And on top of that, they last really well throughout the day. I don't own any products that are like this. I don't have any cream to powder blushes. I have cream blushes, but those are completely different than these. And frankly, for me, cream blushes, even the ones that I love, they don't stay on throughout the day the way that these are. I don't think these are as long lasting as a regular powder blush. Like some of my favorites are the Balm. Their blushes stay on all day. MAC blushes stay on all day. e.l.f. Studio blushes stay on all day, as do the NYX powder blushes. Those don't budge. These, I think, last very well, but they don't last as long as those other ones do. These don't really have a noticeable smell. Of course, the texture is really interesting on these, and if you haven't swatched one of their eyeshadows or blushes, it's the same texture as the eyeshadows. Very creamy and just weird. It makes me think of Squand in a way, if you've ever played with that. It's the sand that when you put it in water, when you take it out of the water, it's instantly dry. It's just odd. I do think that these, for the most part, they're all hits. You can't really miss with any of these. However, some of them do go on a little sheerer than others, which again, I don't mind because I'd almost rather it be a little sheer that I can build than it be something crazy. I do think the best way to apply it is with a stipple brush. I kind of converted myself in this video because I had been applying it with just my regular blush brush, but I realized that it really does look better with the stipple brush. So that's what I would recommend. I like the Real Techniques one, but e.l.f. has some that are, like I had mentioned earlier, they're good and I like them for other things, but I think this one works a little better for this. The packaging is of course adorable. It's just the white packaging with the name on the back and then the lid that screws on. They do say to keep them closed tight, 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 and to not leave them open for too long because it will dry out. It is a creamy texture. I'm tightening all of mine right now. It is a creamy texture. Overall, would I recommend these blushes? Yes. I think for $8, that's absolutely drugstore price range. And frankly, in the drugstore, there's not a ton of great blush options, and there's certainly nothing with this formula out there. So I would definitely recommend them. I love these blushes. I really liked their eyeshadows. There are some that I like and some that I don't like as much, but I do think it's worth it. And $8, you know, even if you were just to get one, I would get Prenup. It's the most beautiful in the universe. If you were just to get one, find a color you know you would wear every single day, and $8 is really a small price to pay for a really good blush. So I hope that video was helpful. If you're interested in more of my drugstore reviews and demos or any other reviews and demos that I've done, I'll link the playlist below. If you'd like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.